Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you all how to model in the lower torso, as well as combine the feet to the legs and then the legs and the lower torso to the body. So we're going to start just by adding the feet to the legs. Mine are already kind of in place, wireframe unshaded, and yours might be as well also. If not, you may need to add in geometry as needed using the multi-cut tool. Hold control to line up those verts. But since mine are already lined up fine, I'm just going to go ahead and combine this foot to this one right here, or mesh combine. And then one thing you'll notice is that even though it's combined, I tap 3 on my keyboard, it's still not. And you're going to see a little bit, I don't know if you can tell 100%, tapping 3 on my keyboard, because I don't have any of these, it's actually pinching like this hard edge around it. Now let me show you when I switch to my vertex mode, and I just grab those verts around the ankle. Now I'm going to hold shift, right click, and do merge vertices and merge vertices. And you'll see how it sort of smooths itself out instead of that harsh kind of edge. Hold shift, right click, merge vertices, and you'll see it sort of smooths itself out. And that's how you know that it's been merged properly at a quick glance anyway. Same thing here, I'll combine these, and then same exact process. Alright, now that I have that done, I need to go ahead and I need to start modeling in the lower torso. And I'm going to start by combining both the legs. And as I did with the hands, I'm going to turn symmetry off. I'm going to hold shift, select one edge, hold shift, select the other one. And voila. Now it's extremely important you do it in that order. At least it used to be. Let's see if I can do it in a different order. It did still work. Instead of just doing one at a time and then having to like merge verts and all that, you can just select one, hold shift, select the other one. And it used to be really important to do it in that type of order: start, finish, where the bridge sort of knew. It would have a better understanding, I guess, of how it would work, but it seemed to work fine here. I'm just going to hit bridge. And I'm going to add 3 subdivision levels. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to add 3 subdivision levels. Now if you remember, I still need to merge these verts because they're not merged yet. So I'm going to highlight them, merge vertices. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to do 3 subdivisions. And then I'm going to go ahead and merge these also. And now I've basically gone ahead and it might be a little low, but that's alright. I can just grab these verts here. And I'm going to switch to one mode. I'll grab those verts. And these verts. And I'm deselecting the verts that I don't want to grab. And just sort of bring those together like so. And now I have this one. I bring this one up. Oop, simultaneously. And now I'm going to, on both of these sides, select just the edges that I need here. And I'm going to extrude these up. And then I'm going to just take these verts and merge to center. G for last tool used. And now I'm going to take this entire edge loop at this point, and I'm just going to extrude this up. G for last tool used, and then I'm just going to sort of flatten this out and leave it at about there for now. So now that I've got that taken care of, what I'm going to do next is I need to go ahead and start to bring these in just to match the reference a little bit more closely. And I'm also going to need to add more vertices in a lot of areas. So what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to try selecting just the object, holding shift, holding right click, and running a smooth. And now from here, I'm going to start snapping these into place using my vertice tool, snap to verts, holding V. You'll notice it turns on the little snapping button here. And I'm just going to go around the entire mesh. And in fact, it might be a little offset, but I believe this should work. And just keep coming around. And I'm going to do this all the way around the entire torso. And there we go. It lined up just right. Now, probably not going to line up just right for all of you. In fact, I would say that was pretty lucky. It doesn't happen like that very, very often. But I did have a good idea that it would match pretty closely because I ran a smooth on the upper body with the same starting subdivision at 8 as we started the entire model on cylinders. But there are times where you may need to cut in extra geometry, and that's when you just go to your multi-cut tool and then just cut it in as needed. Also, if you find yourself really struggling with this and you got one side right and the other side wrong, in just a moment I'm going to show you how to I've already covered it with a lot of stuff, but I'm going to cover it again, basically. So now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the upper body with the lower body, and then I need to go in here, go to my vertex mode, and I'm just running a click and drag over a bunch of these verts. I know it's just this edge loop here, but since I have my threshold set so small at 0.001, none of these other verts should be affected. And let's just go ahead, and it worked perfectly fine. So now I've got my starting character mesh. I do want to add a little bit more geometry in. One right there. And I'm going to go to Edit, Delete All by Type, History. Alright, so let's just say that your character so far, one side's looking really good. You know, you tried using symmetry, you tried all this kind of stuff, but it's still, you know, to do it again on the other side, it's just going to take you just as long or longer, right? What you can do is you can hold, switch to your face mode, go to your character here, and just basically delete the entire half that isn't looking right, okay? Now from here, what we'll do, also, before I even do that, make sure you have all of these verts here, and make sure you don't accidentally, make sure you don't, alright, perfect, accidentally select any vertices that you don't need, and we're going to delete that face too. And make sure that you delete any unwanted faces also. Now, if your model is good on one half, you can flip it over. But let's just say right here, you're like trying to flip it over. It's not lining up right. This is the steps to take. Now, I'll show you a quick little shortcut. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, there's the script editor. You can go ahead and press that little button here in the bottom right corner. The script editor will pop open. And what I want to show you really quickly is I'm just going to shift these off. And now what I'm going to type in is move dash X. It's like a little cheat code. 0. And then hold Control and press Enter. And you'll notice that all those vertices on the x-axis will snap directly to where the world equals, where x on the world measurement will equal 0. I know it's a little complicated, but it's just this: move dash x 0, and technically you could type that in too. That in this type of script that ends any type of code being typed in. You'll see it at the end of many of these lines of code here where we're selecting and yada yada yada. So I've got that written in, and after that just press Control Enter, and that's it. So that will line them all up to 0. Okay. Now once you have them all lined up to 0, the other way, as I might as well show you now, make sure you have them all selected, and we've covered this also, but I'll turn on my grid and I'm going to hold X and just snap this to 0. And let's just say they're offset. Just hold R or tap R for your scale tool, scale them all directly into place, and then you can go ahead and move them back into place. Now that that's said and done, you also need to make sure, just say modify center pivot. Alright. You'll notice my pivot point is out of place. So I need to hold D and I'll hold X. That's for edit pivot, and X to snap to grid. And now we just recenter our pivot point, and then we do Control D and we scale at -1. And you'll notice now, scale at -1, and you'll notice now that I've just flipped it over, and the last thing I need to do is combine them. So select both of the meshes, right? Combine them, and then the last thing you need to do is select all of these verts down the middle, and then merge vertices and merge vertices, and you should be good to go. So that is combining the feet to the legs, modeling in the lower torso, and all of that fun stuff. Now, I think I even might add one more edge loop here. I'm going to delete all by type history real quick. I'm going to add one more edge loop in here because I feel like I could use it. That looks a little bit better. And I'm also going to, soften edges. And I'm going to turn the grid off. And what I'm going to do here is I'm basically going to use that sculpt tool and try to sculpt this in a little bit nicer and cleaner. So I'm going to go to my sculpting tab, go to the sculpt tool. I'm going to turn symmetry to object X. I'm going to increase my brush size. I'm going to start by holding shift to sort of smooth some of this information out. And then I'm also, make sure you adjust your brush size and your brush strength. And I'm going to start to form out, in this case, the glutes or the buttocks region. I'm going to show you another tool that I find extremely helpful. This is the pinch tool. So I'm going to click on the pinch tool. It's at strength 15. I'm going to change it to like 0.5. And I'm going to go right in the middle. Okay, maybe it can be 1. It's going to take all day. And maybe, let's try 5. And you'll see them start to pinch in. And I'm basically just creating the crease in between the glutes by pinching in these vertices. You see them start to pinch into one another, right? And then I'm going to switch back to my sculpt tool. I'm going to just start to add a little bit of shape to it and then soften it out a little bit. and I'm going to start to get that look that I'm going for. Doesn't need to be perfect. And now I'll grab my pinch, the two little arrows pulling inwards, and start to pinch that together a little bit. And I'd say that's starting to look okay. But I also need to make sure that it's matching my reference pretty well also. So I'm going to grab my sculpt tool here, and I'm going to start to just fill this character out a little bit. And then also I got to make sure I'm following it on the back legs also. And then here, and I'm just kind of slightly adding some girth to them. And I'm going to smooth that out real quick and then kind of re-add some of that information. And let's check the lower back, and I'd say that's starting to look pretty good. So that's all we have to it. I've got the full base of my character basically ready to go. And the last part I need to do is I need to just add on the head or the face, and we'll take care of that in the next week, next lab. So anyway, basically just submit your Maya file. Screenshots I would include also. I would include anything that will help you, get a better grade. So just keep them in mind on that, and definitely submit your Maya file so I can take a look at it up to this point and kind of give you some feedback on how your model's coming along. If you do have any questions, like always, shoot me a message right away. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much.